A moment.
Rowan.
Alright, let's see.
Eivor, thank Tyr.
I heard shouting. Is something wrong?
Holger robbed me, and I demand he be punished.
Ha! Raw disappointed word. Does the deer rub the stream when she takes a drink? Does a cow rub a field when he crops on sweet grass?
Eivor, this matter requires sensitive judgment. Will you?
Oh, jeez. I walked right into this, didn't I?
Of course.
This is... No, don't sit on that throne. Do not sit on that throne. What the fuck is she doing?
There is no excuse too small, I see. Nothing to keep you from coveting that seat, is there?
In Sigurd's absence, who has better claim to oversee these disputes?
You might leave them to work it out for themselves, but that would mean letting go, would it not?
I agree with Dag in this situation. Granted, she could apply an opinion, but
tell me
not
all that has happened.
What the fuck did she sit there?
I have been falsely accused by this Saxon Philistine.
A Philly what? Are you mocking me?
Silence, please. I'll hear both of your complaints and render a decision, awarding compensation if needed. Understood?
Why? Why?
Rowan,
Why
tell
are
me
we
your
doing this?
version of these events.
As you are aware, Holger and I are neighbors. Near enough that I often catch him at my stables, stealing my tools.
Borrowing.
Holger, let him speak.
Stealing, borrowing. My point being, I have always allowed him to use whatever he pleased. I greatly admire your Norse generosity and had hoped to match it. But this morning, Holger stretched the limits of my grace. Entering my stables for their feed, I found my most beautiful, gentle mare stripped of her tail. Bereft, not a strand in sight. I am ashamed to say my natural suspicion drew me to Holger, and how right I was. For when I peered across the lane, there he was, gripping a horsetail brush slathered with indigo, dragging it across a sheet of
painting, Rowan. I was painting. You make it sound so crude.
You see? Such willful arrogance. It will take ages for Ilgafur's tail to reach its former length. I demand compensation.
I understand. Thank you, Rowan.
Now, considering the fact that he let him use the tools, that was fine. He did not make it clear that his horses and other livestock were off limits. The other guy decided he was just going to take it upon himself to of course, snip the tail or something. I don't necessarily agree with that because it's a living animal, not a tool that can be built and replaced if needed. Granted, the hair will grow back on the horse and everything. The horse's tail needs to be trimmed, but he should have communicated that when he wanted it, not just taking it.
Holger, let me hear your side.
Eivor, you have known me as a skald for years. You have seen how my poems bring life and joy and wisdom to our people. And you know that my work requires a certain, let us say, freedom to make use of rare resources to compose my verses. Often when lacking the proper tools, I have made use of novel items. Alvis's walking stick, Tovi's inks, all were given gladly.
You cut off my horse's tail to make a brush, you bleeding...
Rowan?
Nobody asked.
As I was saying, this morning in the throes of poetic reverie, I realized that my latest piece required delicate brushwork. I could have used a frayed stick, some cloth, my hands, but no. I needed something gentler, softer. To make a perfect brush, I needed the fine hairs of a well-raised horse. And so I availed myself of a local resource.
You clipped Alfgafur's tail to the rump without asking.
It was early. I did not wish to wake you.
Thank you, Holger. I
You
believe
should
I
have waited
understand your
until
position.
it was late. Yeah, you should have waited until it was late.
I believe I have heard enough. If you will...
My horse looks like a fool, Eivor. No handsomer than a donkey now. You must do something.
Do not conflate hair with beauty, Rowan. She remains radiant. Elgifur's hair will grow back in no time.
Quiet, both of you. Now
I
listen.
agree. It will. Oh, why do I have to hear the statements right? Why do I have to hear the statements again?
Before I give my verdict, I would like to hear your statements again.
Oh, because I don't remember whose name is what. Okay, so Rowan is the one who has the horse. That's right. And Holger is the one who is saying that he needed it. Technically, since it was Rowan who it was borrowed from, I believe and feel like Rowan is right. However, Holger is also right because the tail will grow back. But the objective here is just the perspective of it. Wait, did my audio go out? The objective here is just
I believe I have heard enough.
the fact that
My horse
he
looks
took
like
it
a
without
fool,
actually
Eivor.
taking it.
No handsomer than a donkey now. You must do something.
He took it
Do
without
not
asking
conflate
him
hair
first.
with beauty, Rowan.
Quiet, both of you. Now listen.
Yeah, but he never had to ask before, so he didn't feel a need to ask, and that's where the issue was. I believe Rowan is right, and because of the fact that he did, Holger or whatever did take it without asking, and it seems like he did it at a inconvenient time on purpose. So, but I don't want to say either one of them are right because they both didn't communicate properly, and that's where the error was. The error is in the lack of communication.
Holger, Rowan is clearly in the right. You sheared the tail from his horse without gaining permission.
I borrowed the tail. Borrowed.
You can't
Does
put the tail
reality
back.
of regrowth not make this a victimless crime?
No.
It is a two-victim crime, Holger. Though they are unharmed, you took without asking, and that
Right.
will not do. As the horse's value has diminished significantly, you will pay Rowan its market price.
But the horse was not for sale. Rowan, admit it.
My decision is final, Holger. Pay what you owe and meet tomorrow as friends.
And if I do, may I keep the horse?
Pay the man and be done with it. Rowan, does this satisfy you?
It does. Thank you, Eivor.
Good. Then by Tyr's blessing, let this matter rest. We are done here. Return to your homes in peace.
Now, in Eivor's
Would you allow
situation,
me to pay you with a vibrant painting? After all, in some ways you helped in its creation.
true,
Absolutely not. Silver is the only color I wish to see from you.
he should get some silver and a vibrant painting, to be honest, especially since the horse contributed to it. And also, in aspect to it, Eivor should send a message to Sigurd in responsibility for her resolving this matter. That would be most responsible of her.
Gothspan be? One of us?
She should also notify him of the alliance, or at least get in contact with his wife and let his wife know that that he resolved the matter. Granted, the wife also called for this. She called for a listening ear. She didn't call for a verdict. So, I love how they twist the lines and blur the greatness of this, just like
hello,
humanity
Eivor.
does.
Good day. That Holger, he is quite a character.
I almost envy him. To see the world through such a muddy glass and live with such petty concerns. He hasn't a care in the world.
Let's not walk too far with that idea. I need you right where you are.
East Anglia is with us.
The light
Their
change.
King Oswald has pledged his loyalty to us.
Eivor Kingmaker, we shall call you soon.
That's gonna be what the playlist on YouTube is gonna be called.
Some
My
interesting
YouTube
news.
is linked. So.
King Ceolwulf has sent Ceolbert to Shropshire. He hopes to install him as Elderman there.
Good for Ceolbert. He should do well considering all he has learned from you.
I gave him only a taste of my knowledge. The rest he will need to figure for himself. One more thing. I do not know if you heard, but Sven passed away a short time ago.
Sven.
Poor man slipped away in his bed.
I had not heard, no. And how is Toby? She must be gutted.
It has been rough on her. She spends quite a lot of time at his burial mound. Speak with her, if you have the time.
All right.